Lauri Markkanen has just re-signed with the Utah Jazz. And if you want any idea as to why Utah was willing to pay him that amount of money, here's a few good reasons.
There's Markkanen. You can see it coming. Here's Markkanen. Drives paint.
In case you don't already know, Lauri Markkanen isn't just a good NBA player, he is an absolute cheat code. Over his 2 seasons in Utah, he has averaged 24.5 points per game on 63.6% true shooting. And just to put into perspective how ridiculous those numbers are, there are only 5 other players in the league to average at least 23 points on 63% true shooting over that same period of time. Joel Embiid, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and Nikola Jokic. 4 MVPs and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who many believe could have won MVP last season. That's the kind of company Lauri Markkanen is in when it comes to scoring and the efficiency at which he does it with. And if you want any idea as to what makes Lauri such a great scorer, just watch him here. Talen Horton-Tucker has the ball out top. Kessler sets a screen to free up Lauri, and in an instant he turns his body and fires the 3. Or how about on this play, where this time it's Fontecchio setting the screen, and Lauri is able to shift his hips and knock down the 3 from the corner. Those 2 plays in isolation aren't crazy, but they are crazy when you consider he is 7 feet tall with the shooting ability of a 3-point specialist. But the difference is, Lauri isn't just a 3-point specialist. Let me remind you guys, he's 7 feet tall, and he uses that size and height, like on this play, where again he's curling around for the 3. Josh Hart closes out aggressively, so he puts the ball on the floor and just throws it down. And that's probably the least violent Lauri Markkanen dunk, because over his 2 seasons in Utah, he has thrown down some of the nastiest posters you will ever see.
Posterize Gobert.
And that right there sums up what is so great about Lauri Markkanen's game. He is a monster around the rim with his size, strength, and athleticism, but he's also a 7-footer who can come off screens and knock down 3s at will, being utilized like he's JJ Redick or Klay Thompson, but with an extra 6 inches on those guys, and he'll use those inches to make you pay. Pause. So going back to the initial statement, this is why the Utah Jazz re-signs Lauri Markkanen, because despite a lot of people suggesting this is the right time to trade him, suggesting by next year he'll be old and washed and will lose all of his basketball ability, I'm being serious. That is how some people have been talking, and I have absolutely no idea what they think is going to happen to Lauri's trade value in the span of a year if the Jazz do eventually decide to trade him. Because newsflash, he just turned 27 a few months ago. We just saw Philadelphia give 34-year-old Paul George a max contract with his injury history, and we know for a fact there were teams willing to give up assets to trade for Paul George as well. But you mean to tell me in 1 year's time, Lauri Markkanen will just have no value? I'm here to tell you, you're an idiot if you think that. Well, not any of you actually watching this video because I love you all, but everyone else, they're all idiots. Because the entire point of rebuilding is to get star-level talent. Utah have a relatively young, low-maintenance, high-efficiency star player who wants to be in Utah. This is not someone who is desperate to leave, but is just taking the money before requesting a trade. No, he wants to be in Utah. They've all showed their belief in me, from the ownership to the front office to Will. It's a comfortable environment, and those guys' resumes speak for themselves. I trust in the organization to help me grow as a person and a player, to build our team, and I'm ready to take on the challenge. And I know what everyone will say, but he doesn't fit the timeline. Are we sure he doesn't fit the timeline? Because I don't know if there's such thing as a timeline in the NBA. Just look at the Charlotte Hornets or Detroit Pistons, who have been rebuilding for years, and it's almost like they've been looking for someone just like Lauri Markkanen to complement their top-tier talent. But a player like Lauri Markkanen is very hard to find. What Utah have right now is a stack of young talent that will get a chance to prove themselves next season. But if there are players who don't fit, Utah will then have both financial flexibility to go after a free agent and trade flexibility to make a trade. And all of a sudden, they could be a playoff team again by next season. Or they could go the other way and bottom out this season in a league where about 25 teams are looking to make the playoffs and take a chance at getting a guy like Cooper Flagg or VJ Edgecombe to pair with Lauri, because although Lauri is capable of being the best player on a playoff team, in fact, the Jazz have won the minutes he's been on the floor the last 2 seasons. He's not LeBron James or Nikola Jokic. If he's playing with a team full of first and second year players, the Jazz will be competitive, but they will still be towards the bottom of a stacked Western Conference, giving them a chance at a high-end lottery pick. And the whole idea of a timeline for a team is built around the idea that a star player will want to leave the team if they aren't a championship contender within 12 months. If Lauri is willing to stay and build with this team, which is what everything suggests, there's no reason they can't be a contender in 3 years' time when he's still in his athletic prime. Also, having Lauri on your team makes it easier for everyone, including the young players. Not just because of his experience, but his play style. He gives you elite production without taking the ball out of the hands of young guards like Keontae George, who need reps to develop. There's also one other aspect that isn't getting discussed: Lauri's development. He's only 27 and he's only had 2 seasons where he's been a go-to guy. Often players with this level of talent become #1 options at about 21 years old and develop from there. Lauri still has room to grow, like his ability to create more for himself and for others. Watch him here get the handoff from Kessler, and watch his ability to recognize Porter Jr. helping over so he throws the perfect dime to Dunn for the corner 3. Or here where again he gets the ball off that Kessler screen, and with 2 defenders going to him, he rifles the pass into Kessler for the dunk. Even a play like this where he gets the ball in the middle of the floor, takes 1 dribble to collapse the defense before kicking it out to Keontae for 3. I'm not saying Lauri's going to turn into Jokic, but there's still room for him to improve, and he has the tools to get even better. No one thought he would be this good when he got traded from Cleveland, so why should we put a ceiling on how good he can be right now? And there are so many aspects to his game which makes him the player he is. Another aspect that you're getting from him is a transition monster. All those physical traits that I mentioned translate in transition better than anywhere else, and he's also got the handle to bring the ball up coast to coast and finish. How many players have you seen do this at 7 feet tall, where he effortlessly moves up the court before Euro-stepping around the defense and then the soft outside of the hand layup? This is the kind of finesse he has to pair with that athleticism and shooting. I mean, how many 7-footers have you seen run around a screen and then with Anthony Davis backpedaling, he Euro-steps around him and then finishes with his left hand? Or this time against the Hornets, where he hits like a spinning, floating layup. And at 7 feet tall, Lauri's also a guy that you can give the ball to in the post, and he can work against mismatches if need be, or even against all defensive level players, like here against Bam, using his strength to post him up and watch him pivot like he's going to the fadeaway before the step through and the casual finger roll. I don't know about you guys, but this is the kind of player I'd be trying to keep, not trade, and I think Danny Ainge knows that. Now, if I've kept your attention to this point, you might as well subscribe for more content like this. I'm making it close to every single day. Dropping a like would be much appreciated. Either way, hope you have a very great day. Bye.